Got kind of lost in transmission, I guess, if you will. But it's on over here. Hey, gig 'em.
Welcome to the Zone Game Day Show. It is sponsored by TexAgs.com. I say rain or shine, and you know, it feels like we don't have a clue what it's ever going to be. Louie Belina, along with Olin Buchanan, Robert Cessna, when the Aggies are at home, when the Aggies are at Kyle Field, the three of us gathered to educate, inform, really guess a lot, and just kind of entertain you for 2 hours and hopefully get you ready for the next home game at Kyle Field. Tonight, the Aggies will be hosting Louisiana Monroe, the Warhawks and the Aggies once again to do battle at Kyle Field. I'm Louie Belina of the Louie Belina Show, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, right here on The Zone. I'm always joined by Olin Buchanan of TexAgs, TexAgs.com, TexAgs Radio, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You hang out with Gabe Bach. It is the legendary Go Hour.
It's great to be here. Always enjoy talking A&M football, especially 2 hours or 3 hours for the game. It's always fun, even when they're playing Louisiana Monroe. It's always a great time.
Joined also by Robert Cessna. He is the 40-plus year editor of the sports page for the Eagle. Cease, great to have you. Pittsburgh Steelers shirt representing news today. Ben Roethlisberger is playing against the Chiefs tomorrow.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised at that at all, but I just hope the rest of the team plays, and I hope he knows who's on his team this time as opposed to last week.
You can't repeat a 5-interception performance. I'd settle for 3, and they'd win the game by 14.
Myles Garrett introduced himself to Mr. Roethlisberger big time
Yeah,
last
Myles
week.
Garrett's finest game as a pro, which is pretty good for a future Hall of Famer.
It's going to be an amazing season for him. You know, I mean, he's always good. But did you see him in the offseason when he came down here for Aggie Pro Day? I interviewed him, and it looked like, I'm not a little guy. I mean, I'm not a great big guy, but I'm not a little guy. And he just dwarfed me. He as big as he was at A&M, he's just increased. He's so massive now.
And with a lot of guys, I want to see him play a full season. He hasn't done that for like 2 or 3 years, health-free for every games.
I'm assuming he's going to be healthy because
we'll see.
You can't block him.
Normally we'd say, it's the Zone Game Day Show live from the lawn of the Association of Former Students building, but not today. We are inside the Association of Former Students building. Yesterday, when we took a look at the Doppler Weather Radar Zone Edition 7000, there was supposed to be rain projected between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. Matter of fact, yesterday morning, the weather forecast got worse for rain during this time. If you look out your window, you're driving around, you're tailgating right now, it is hot. It is steamy. The sun is up high, but we had to take precautions, so we are inside the Association of Former Students building. Now, as we take you to 5:30, we're going to talk A&M. We're going to talk Louisiana Monroe. We're going to talk A&M versus Louisiana Monroe. One thing, we don't do this every game day show, but I wanted to introduce today, since it is the Warhawks, and maybe there's less Warhawks conversation to have today, and you want to talk more Texas A&M, I am introducing text message questioning. You can interact with us today. It's not an everyday thing, not an every show thing. If you want to text message questions for Olin, Cease, me if you're really desperate, but if you want to text message questions for us, the number is 979, and you have to use the area code when you text, 979-693-1150. I will work in your text message questions, 979-693-1150. Text your Aggie football questions, game day questions for Olin, Cease, and Louie. Text now at 979-693-1150. I know where I want to start, guys. A week ago, we had questions. A week ago, we talked about what we wanted to see, what we wanted to learn. So many questions heading into Clemson. So much we had hoped that we would find out. So really what I wanted to start off, the one thing you know now, the one question that got answered, you're 100% on. Something that's a fact now that wasn't before kickoff at Clemson. And Olin, I'm going to let you start us off.
It's a tougher team and physically and mentally than it ever was in the last, several years. You can say that, Mon came of age. He made some great throws, but he made some that, quite frankly, maybe they were great throws. Maybe he got lucky. Okay, so I'm good with him, and the receivers did some great things. The defense, a lot of things you can look at and say, man, they really answered some questions. But I think the biggest question that was answered for me is how tough is this team? And when you get down to Clemson, the number 2 team in the country, and you're losing 21-6, late in the second half, or I guess it was the third quarter, and then you just come back and give them, just keep the pressure on them, and even get a bad call, or actually a couple of horrific calls go against you, and still keep coming back.
A non-call and a call.
Right. I mean, you still keep coming back. That shows me that you are a mentally tough team.
Cease, for you, the one thing you know that's a fact, 100% undisputable now, you did not know before Clemson kickoff.
I thought you might say, what did we say was number one thing we'd look for? And I wanted to look for the defensive line when we left last time. And I want to say I always look at the lines because of the SEC. And I had my doubts about moving Kiki out to defensive end full-time or see what you have. But when I saw the defensive line do a good job against what I would consider a good Clemson offensive line, I don't think they're great. Because I saw a little bit today at times they struggled. But I'm just saying is the defensive line can go compete in the SEC without the need to bring blitzes all the time. With I think they'll be able to go mano and win a lot of battles. And I didn't know if the defensive line can consistently do that for 70 snaps in an SEC game.
And for me, the number one thing I know is that this team, the players, are 100% on the same page with Jimbo. You could tell they're absorbing everything that Jimbo and his staff, the coaches, whatever they're teaching them. You know what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. You could tell because every unit played better than anyone should have predicted or expected. Every unit played 100% that they had. Mistakes were made. Okay, fine, whatever, right? But every unit played to their potential. Every unit showed up. I mean, even when mistakes were made. And to me, that's a team that's 100% on board with their coaching position player and their coordinator. And this whole program is 100% on the same page. And you can do great things with that. And you learn quickly and you grow quickly. And great things happen when that's a true statement. That, for me, that's what I 100% believe is true.
Well, first of all, I believe everybody bought in or they wouldn't have been here on the team because I think Fisher's that kind of guy. But, yeah, I'm with you that, this is a team that's embracing everything that was expected and taught. And the one area where I came away concerned, and I think everybody would be, is the secondary. Sure. And yet some of the biggest mistakes I saw in the secondary or some of the things I think are easiest to correct is just basically say, break down, play under control, remind yourself what's the down and distance and what you have to do. It wasn't so much, like the one touchdown pass that Trevor Lawrence threw, the guy was covered. He just made a great play. Now be under control to bring the guy down.
You had the mistake of not finding the ball so that you could have made the 50-50 play, and then the mistake was the second defender, bad angle on the tackle.
I don't think you're going to make the 50-50 play 50% of the time against T. Higgins, but to me, the bigger mistake on that, because Oliver had the guy reasonably well covered. Now you got to make a play on the ball.
It's the second guy. Yeah.
But it was the second guy coming over, and I don't know what he's doing.
I think it was Tucker.
It was Tucker.
Yeah.
Make the tackle, and be under control, make the tackle.
Let's talk about Go ahead, Cease. I'm sorry.
What I really like is you can't draw up when your team's going to face adversity. But I felt that A&M faced adversity about 2 or 3 times in that game. And like Olin said, they're down 21-6. When you answer when you have adversity, and I thought the clear cut time was when they had the touchdown or play taken away that went out of the end zone to come right back and score from that. Because you know what? Go back a year ago, they handled adversity pretty good in the Alabama game, in that game against a top-ranked team. But I thought different about this game was how they continually handled adversity and kept clawing back. And, that's to me, that's a big sign moving forward.
Yeah, I thought in the Clemson game they faced adversity kind of in the second quarter when that D-line started to take over for Clemson. They shrugged it off. I thought adversity was the 14-point swing you felt like when Starkle fumbled at the 21. Mm-hmm. You faced adversity when you got the no call. You could have been frustrated and lost focus for just 2 possessions.
That wasn't called. Yeah.
And you could have lost focus for 2 possessions. The game could have been over there. You faced adversity when the officials made the bad call on the fumble out of bounds. That's 3 that could have ended certain games. That could have ended certain teams. Because if you lose focus for a drive or 2 against number 2 Clemson, number 1 Alabama, Mississippi State, Auburn, the games end when you lose focus for half a quarter. Because that's 14, 21 points, and you don't come back from that. And this team never lost focus. They came back the next drive, the next possession, and played again. And that's the thing. They never lost focus momentarily. That's incredible.
Yeah, that goes back to my original point. I think it's a tougher-minded team because a lot of teams when things go bad, okay, maybe you bounce back once, and maybe you bounce back twice. But when you get three things going, and you stay relentless, and you come out and get a 3 and out.
How many times can you go to that well to bounce back too? You know, that's the thing. You've done it once. Okay, I've done it twice. At what point do you just go, look, we've done all we can do? How do you just keep coming back?
And how, wouldn't you, at that time, even with like 40 seconds ago, wouldn't you just expect that had they been able to somehow get the onside kick, that they were going to make a play and be in position to kick a field goal to win the game?
Hey, I really thought they were going to get 2-point conversion and then win in overtime because they had so much momentum. I was kind of surprised that the 2-point conversion play blew up right away, but I felt A&M had all the momentum, and I just felt whatever they call was going to work. It was like, but of course I was wrong. That didn't turn out that way, but they definitely had all the momentum. It was just amazing.
Kellen Mond, did you ever have any clue he could put that kind of performance together?
That kind, probably not. Now I was
not last year.
Even last year, if you'll remember, I was saying, look, this guy can make plays. He made big time play against Arkansas, if you can remember, rolling right and then hitting Christian Kirk with like a 80-yard touchdown pass. He completed 2 4th down passes in the fourth quarter to keep drives going. Made a perfect pass to Kirk in overtime. Made big plays against Florida. Even made some big plays, big throws against Alabama. But he was a freshman, so everybody knows everybody tells you that the most improvement goes from year 1 to year 2. I felt like Kellen Mond was going to be a really good quarterback.
And we saw that improvement against Northwestern State. We did. No. He showed improvement in just that year 1 to 2.
Understanding
against that team. Yeah, because he was making decisions, checking out of plays. When his first receiver was covered, he didn't just look frozen in the pocket like he did in year 1. But what about the improvement from game 1 to 2?
Yeah, again, I expect him to. But if I'd be lying, and everybody know it if I said, oh, yeah, I thought he'd go out and throw for 430 yards. Of course not. But I thought he'd be able to go out and play a good, solid game even against that defense.
Thought he'd throw for 430 against a real bad team. The way he threw the ball with the precision on the run, sometimes staying in the pocket, and as Jimbo has said several times, he was getting racked a couple times, throwing beautiful passes. And I said, but I give him a lot of credit, but Jimbo Fisher can coach quarterbacks. We're out there watching the hips and all.